Okay, good morning all. And next we'll be looking at is electronic mail. Okay. Uh, in this we will try to see things like how exactly we are sending an email, and when you are trying to send an email, what happens at the background. Okay. So what are the messages which are getting shared, and what are the components which are helping us in making this possible. Okay, these are the things which we will be looking in this particular case. Okay, so basically when internet came into picture, one of the most important service to which people got attracted was email or electronic mail. Okay, so basically the people who came up with internet, they never imagined like this will be the popularity of email. Okay, so in this case, like we will be discussing things like what is the architecture we have with respect to email. Okay, we have some components like user agent, message transfer agent, message access agent. Okay, about these things we will be looking. So we basically have four scenarios when we consider email concept. Okay, if a question comes on email, you will have to explain all these four scenarios. You need to draw the diagrams of all four scenarios, and you need to explain all four scenarios. Okay, so the first scenario, this is the case where we are considering like two users, like sender and receiver. In this case, we are considering like Alice and Bob. These two are connected directly to same mailbox or same system, let us say. Okay, I have mail server wherein both Alice and Bob are connected. And within mailbox, within this system, we are going to have boxes. Boxes means for each user, you are going to have a mailbox. For example, when you log into your Gmail, you will be allocated a mailbox wherein whoever sends some information, some mail to your mail ID that gets stored in that particular mailbox. Okay. So here you can see we have user agent of Alice. Basically, it will help in creating that particular message, displaying that particular message, and making sure like that message is going from Alice system to the corresponding mailbox of Bob, because Alice is trying to send to Bob, right? So it will go to Bob's mailbox, and Bob from his mailbox, whenever he logs into the mail, he can check whoever has sent mail to Bob. Okay, so overall in the first scenario, we are considering like we have two users, two end users connected to the same mail system or mail server. In that case, we require two user agents. Okay, and the responsibility of user agent is to create the message, display the message, format the message, and transfer to like keep in this particular mailbox. Okay, clear, right? This particular concept for scenario. Any doubts you have?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So when the sender and receiver of an email are on the same system, we need only two user agents. Okay, this is very important. You need to understand like when I consider two users are connected to same system, what are the components we require? Whenever we have the user separated through a point-to-point or wide area network, what do we need? Okay, all those things you will have to have an idea. Okay, in this case, we require only two user agents. Next, this is the case wherein the two mail systems of sender and receiver, they are not connected, like they are not same, but they have been separated through a point-to-point network or wide area network, let us say. Okay, in that case, what we need is user agent, user agent of Alice. Uh, it can take care of transferring the message from Alice system to respective queue. Okay, here we are going to have mail queues. So till this particular point, it will be taking care of delivering. Okay, but from that point, somebody should be there who takes the message from this system to another system. Okay, so it is something like I have made everything ready and I kept in queue, but there should be somebody who takes care of transferring that message from one point to another point. Okay, because user agent is not responsible for transferring the information from one point to another point. It can do like store it in a queue, or at least it can help in making the information get into one of the mailbox. But user agent cannot transfer the information from one point to another point. So what we are considering here is we have MTA, which stands for Message Transfer Agent. And this message transfer agent, we are going to have two things, client and server. MTA client will be having, MTA server will be having. MTA client, it takes the information from the respective queue and sends it to MTA server. MTA server, what it does is, it takes the information and keeps in respective mailboxes. Okay, so from that mailbox, Bob will be taking the information. Okay, so second scenario is the one which represents moving of like the mail from one system to another system, which is handled by MTA client. So indirectly here we are trying to say in the if we have second scenario kind of situation, in that case we require two user agents and a pair of MTA client and server. Okay, that is second case. Okay, next we are moving into third case.
Sir,
Yes, tell me.
sir, here why are we having a queue at MTA client, sir? Why not mailbox?
See, basically, if you consider here, mailbox is something where your incoming mails are stored. Okay, queues are something which are waiting for transmission. Let us say you have 10 mails. Okay, 10 mails available, 10 mails at a time we cannot send it, right? MTA client cannot send 10 mails at a time. So one after other it has to take care. This is something like to get services of client, we are just waiting inside queue.
Sir, from mailbox also we'll take only one at a time, no, sir?
No, you need to understand the concept of mailbox and waiting for the service of MTA client. Okay, queue is completely different from mailbox. Okay, whenever you are waiting for some service at router, whether you will be having mailboxes or queues.
Queue, sir.
Yeah, so the same thing we are doing here also. We are waiting to get service from the corresponding mailbox, right? Sorry, MTA client.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is the reason we are waiting inside queue.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so first case we have seen like we are going to we are going to have two user agents. Second case we are considering like we are going with two user agents and a pair of MTA. Okay, clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Third case is a little bit different. Okay, here you are not connected to mail server directly. Okay, so previously all these things, mail system or mail server, whatever we are saying, that is something like we have Google servers, right? Google mail server that is directly connected to your system. Okay, or your system itself is Google server, let us say. Okay, but in the third case, whether Google server is available directly with you or it is somewhere located somewhere else.
Located somewhere else.
Yeah, so we are talking about that case here. Okay, so let us say this mail server, whatever you are using, whether it is Google or Yahoo Mail or anything, that is connected to, like you are connected to mail server through a point to point local area network or wide area network. That is what we are considering here. Okay, so in this case again, user agent has to create the message he will take care of that. But see, basically, as we discussed previously also, if I have to move my mail from one location to other location, I need the help of MTA. Okay, so you can see here, we are taking the help of MTA client to move that particular message from alias system to MTA server, which is located in your system itself. That means your mail server. Okay, and from there we need to transfer it to the mail server to which the recipient is connected or Bob is connected. Okay, so again we are considering a pair of MTA client and MTA server. So if I consider this part, this one from here till here, this portion is same. Okay, when I compare with the previous one, but only thing is this part we are getting extra. Why we got this part extra? Because user has shifted from direct connection to a local area network or wide area network. Okay, you are able to distinguish, right? Both cases. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, we have been discussing like user agent is not directly responsible for moving the information from one location to other location. So we are just considering like we require help of message transfer agent. Okay. So when we consider third scenario, we require two user agents. Okay. Previously, for second case, we said a pair of MTA client and server, but now we are saying two pairs of MTA client and server. That is the difference. Okay. So here we are going to consider two pairs of MTA client and server. One for moving the information from moving the information from like source side to its server. Another pair from moving from source system to destination system. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, we will go to the last case wherein we talk about everybody, like both cases, they are separated. They are not connected with each other. Okay. So the last case, see here. So we considered previously like only sender was not connected to mail system directly, but now we are also considering receiver is also not connected to mail system directly. Okay. So what we are doing here is like again, if you see the similarity, this part till here we had same. Okay. The remaining part, as you can see here, this particular part is something which we are getting extra. Okay. So everything same, like we have user agent of alias who is creating the message. MTA client, it takes care of delivering from its system to its server. Okay, again from your server to receiver server, MTA client and server, they are taking care of. But now the question comes here, how user agent will be taking the information from here. Okay, because we have some restrictions over here. If you want a particular system, let us say like I considered again, basically to move from one location to another location, we are considering MTA, right? MTA agents we are considering. Okay. Maybe by this time you should be getting a question like why we are not considering MTA client and server here, but why we are going with something like MAA. Okay, I don't know how many of you got that question, but the thing is, any idea at least like why we are not considering MTA client at this particular point and MTA server with Bob? Why we are not considering like that?
Sir, MTA is message transferring, no, sir.
Okay,
Here that message should be accepted.
like previously we were doing the same thing, right? We had MTA server with Bob. Why can't I have the same thing, MTA client and MTA server here also? Anybody? What may be the difficulty?
Maybe MT is only for transferring, sir. It cannot take the data from the mailbox.
MTA is for transferring, it cannot take from mailbox. Why do you think so? So for example, we go to ATM machines, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you go to ATM, whether ATM will be working 25 by 7, or they say like only for some duration will be available.
24/7, sir.
Okay, the name itself indicates like it is anytime money, right? So it should be available 24 by 7. Let us say you are trying to access daytime server, okay? Or you are trying to access Google. Have you ever faced any situation wherein Google says like, I'm down now and you cannot use? It will never say like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Google server or Facebook, WhatsApp, I don't want to consider that, because of technical reasons, we may have issues with respect to that anyway. But apart from that, basically server means it should be available 24 by 7. Okay. So in case, let us say we are talking about having a MTA client at this particular point, like we were discussing at point 1, okay, and having MTA server at point 2. The difficulty is the server should be available 24 by 7. Do you accept that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us say you are using a laptop or a desktop. So is it possible for you to maintain that 24 by 7 switch on?
No, sir.
Okay, it's not possible. Okay, so that is the first reason why we are not considering MTA server at Bob's location. Okay, server, why we are not considering at Bob's location is basically server means it should be available 24 by 7, because it is something like how client will come to know whether you are on or not in case you are not working 24 by 7. It's like whenever an email comes, it has to be pushed into your mailbox. In case you are not available, how will you come to know whether you have got any mail or not? Yes or no? That is the reason we cannot consider server at Bob's location. That is one point. And another reason, as uh, Vatsalya, I think Vatsalya, it was she was telling like uh, MTA is just to do transfer, and MAA is for taking the message. Okay, so MTA, message transfer agent, is responsible for pushing the information. Okay, and MAA is responsible for pulling the information. Okay, as we discussed at point 2, I cannot have this one like 24 by 7 working conditions, so I cannot consider server over there. Okay, that is the first point. When we don't have server over there, obviously we need to have client, and servers are not designed to send the message whenever client is on, but instead clients are designed in such a way that they request server and get information. Okay, so in this case what happens is whenever Bob is active or switched on his system or email, then his system, the MAA client in Bob's system, it will contact MEA server and a push operation will be done here. Okay, sorry, pull operation is done in this particular stage. Okay, so if you observe, like alias user agent to MTA server, we are doing pushing operation. MTA server to MTA client through queues, we are having direct connection. MTA client to MTA server of said receiver, we are going to have push operation. Okay, and again MEA server to MEA client, we are going to have pull operation. Okay, clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just recalling all these things in the first scenario, what we are doing, etc. Okay, in the first scenario, as we discussed, the sender and receiver of emails are users who are on the same system. Okay, that means you are directly connected to a shared system wherein both, like your mail and the other person mail, both are same and they are connected to a shared system. In that, what happens is on the local hardware itself, local hard disk will be there, right? In that itself, we are going to have something like a mailbox, a special file with some restrictions. Okay, you can say like I have different locations available, and to access that particular location, I need to provide some username and password. Okay, but somebody else who wants to write into that, they will be able to do that. Okay, somebody who wants to write to that, they will be stored in my mailbox. But to access the content of that, I need my username and password. Okay, so that is what we are considering here. So whenever Alice wants to send a message to Bob, he decided to run user agent. That's a program which is especially designed to create the particular message and store in Bob's mailbox. Okay, so the message will have different things that we will see shortly, like sender's email ID and receiver's email ID. All those things will be there in that one. Okay, so it will be similar to what we were doing in like you may have been to our office, right? Yes or no? Like in admin block we have office, right? You may be going over there many a times, right?
Yes, sir.
You have gone or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you go there, have you seen on the left side, we have different boxes over there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you have, yes, somebody asking something. Okay. So if you have seen those boxes, uh, it it is written like ETM, ECE, CSC, mechanical, civil, sports. Okay. Different department names are written, right? Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so whenever we have some information to specific departments, what they will do is they will just take that information and keep in that particular boxes. Okay, exactly. You need to think your mailboxes also. Okay, in mailboxes also, what we will do is if I want to send a mail to Bob, I'll do like I'll find out where Bob's location is there and just keep information in that particular location. Okay. So especially in our office, we don't have any locking system wherein only ETM people will take that information or not. But in the case of email, we are going to have like that. Okay. So whenever Bob wants to retrieve that information, he needs to provide his username and password. Like that, he will be fetching the information of uh, mailbox and he will be able to read that information. That is the first case wherein we require only two user agents. When we go to second case, we are trying to implement, we are just increasing the complexity over here. Previously, we said like both are connected to same point, but now we are saying like they are separated, or we can say like they are not available on the same system, but the two mail system, mail servers, whatever we have, client and server mail servers, they are just separated through an internet or through an internet connection. Okay. So here Alice needs to use user agent to create that particular message. Okay. So she will create message by using user agent and uh, the system which is available at Alice. needs to store that particular information in some queue. Okay, so that whenever MTA client, it is free to send the information, it will take that information and transfers the information to MTA server of Bob. Okay, this is the case where we do see with most client server programs on the internet. Client, whenever it has some information, it tries to send it to server. Okay, in this case, as we said, we are going to require two user agents and a pair of message transfer agent. Okay, so that is what we are considering in second case. Okay, so the page was not updated, but nobody was telling. I was thinking it got updated. Okay, no issue. So that is the second case which we are considering. When we go with third case, we are again improving the, like we are improving the complexity here. Again, we previously consider like you were connected directly with mail servers, but we are considering like client is not directly connected with mail server or the system in which mail server is running, but instead we are considering like he is like Alice, she is connected to mail server through a local area network or wide area network. That is what we are considering in the third case. So maybe you can consider it can be a point-to-point wide area network. She might be using an Ethernet cable or dial-up modem or a digital subscriber like DSL we call it as, right? So she might be using any one of these techniques to get connected with uh, the mail server. Okay, so Alice still needs user agent because uh, user agent is the one which can help her in writing the message, etc. Then she can use some message. She can send message through local area network or wide area network, but for that we need some client server program. So again, we are taking the help of a message transfer agent here. Message transfer agent client, it will establish a connection with MTA server on the system, which will be running all the time. Okay. Remember the point, all the time. Server is running all the time, right? And we will be able to send it to this particular place. Okay. From there, again, the process keeps on going same as second scenario. Okay. So in this case, we require two user agents and two pairs of MTA client server. The fourth case, we again improved the complexity. This is, you can consider like, this is the case which is relevant with respect to today's internet. Okay. So in today's internet, if we consider neither you nor me have directly connected to mail servers, right? We are not connected to mail server. Like I don't, Google server is not running in my system. Okay, it is running somewhere else. Even when we consider your case also, your systems are not running Google server or Gmail servers. Okay, so they are located somewhere else. So we are considering like both client and server through a LAN or WAN, they have been connected with the servers. Okay, so till you reach the mailbox of the destination, everything is fine. But from there, the concept starts, the variation starts here. Okay, so basically, as we were discussing, message transfer agent, they have been created to provide push operation, but they are not provided to provide pull operation. Okay, so we are taking the help of MAA, which stands for message access agent. Okay, so we are taking the help of message access agent and pulling the information. As we discussed, like why we are going from message transfer agent to message access agent is MTA is designed only for pushing the messages, but MAA is designed to go ahead with pulling the messages. Okay, and why we are not considering server at receiver side is, if we consider server at receiver side, we will have to make sure like the server is working 24/7. But if we consider the case of our desktop or laptop, we cannot keep those things 24/7 alive are active. So we are going with the MTA client instead of MTA server. So when we consider the last case, we require two user agents and two pairs of MTS and a pair of MA. And this is the most common situation which we are seeing today. Okay. Next, when we consider user agent, what are the services it provides us? So if you consider user agent, it is something like a software package you can consider, which is responsible for composing the message, that is also responsible for reading the message, replying the messages, forwarding the message, handling the message, handling the mailbox. So if you really think with respect to all these things, so this is something like whenever I open Gmail, I click on like if we want to create new one, we will click on compose, right? So user agent is helping us in composing a mail. Okay. Whenever you get a mail in your mailboxes, inbox, you will be checking, and in case there is a mail, you will just click on that one, right? And the GUI, graphical user interface. But at the backside, user agent will be running, which will fetch that particular information. Okay. In case you want to reply to whatever the mail you got, so you'll be clicking that reply or reply all. Okay. So there we will be taking the help of again user agent, and whenever we are looking with respect to forwarding the mail which we received also, we will be taking the help of user agent. And mailboxes, handling mailboxes. For example, I may be interested in creating boxes, or I may be interested in making star mark. Okay. So handling mailboxes is handled by user agent. Okay. That is what we are considering here. Okay. Clear what are the responsibilities we have for user agent?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So some examples of command driven user agents, like basically user agents we are saying, right? So some of the examples are mail, pine, and ELM. These are some of the command driven user agents. Similarly, we also have GUI based user agents, Eudora, Outlook, and Netscape. These are some of the graphical user interface based user agents. Okay. So when we look with respect to how conventional mm, postal mail will be and try to compare with electronic mail, we will have something like this. So in conventional mail system, basically, let us say you have written some letter. Basically, we are not writing letters nowadays, but when we go back maybe 10 years and all, we didn't have mobile phones like this, right? Okay. So still there are many people who do use postcards or envelopes. Okay. In case if you feel like that has to be sent through postal system only, in that case we'll be using postal mail. So what we will do is on the envelope, basically we'll be having to address and from address. Okay. So like, is there anyone who did not see envelope or who did not use postal card? Is there anyone? Okay, I hope most of you have seen postcard and most of you have seen envelopes. Okay, so what will happen is on that one we are going to write to and from address. Okay, in the same way, whenever I open a mail, in that also you'll be having the details like mail from and recipient to. Okay, these are the things we are going to keep within the envelope. Okay, on the top of envelope. Below that, you are going to have content like who is writing, to whom they are writing, what is the subject. Okay, all those things you will be writing in body of that particular message. So you can see on the right side, envelope is having just to and fro addresses. Okay, and if we look with respect to header, you are going to have from whom it is coming, to whom it is, date, and subject information. And again, within the body also, we are again including the concept of who is sending to whom like that, along with your message. Okay. So that is a comparison of an email. When we look with respect to email address, we are going to have local address and domain name. Like local address means, for example, you may be having something like ETE third year or ETE0402@gmail.com. At gmail.com is the domain name which you are getting from Gmail, and whatever the other part we have, like let us say vikas@gnits.ac.in. Okay, or in your case, your own mail IDs will be there, right? So we are going to have address part and domain part. Okay, address part may be different, but domain parts for most of the people it will be same. For example, gmail.com, okay, outlook.com, microsoft.com. Okay, understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next thing is whenever we send this information, we have to make sure like whatever the information we are sending to the other side, the information should be correct. Okay. And also we are sending them in the form of non-ASCII codes. And we have MIME, okay, MIME, which is there in between and taking care of converting from one form of information to another form of information. Okay, why do you need that one? Any idea?
For security reasons, sir.
Not exactly. Anyway, this is multi-purpose internet mail extension. So it's something like it's not about security, but let us say again like whenever we use Windows system or Unix system, we have seen like whatever the command we say in Windows, that may not be same with respect to Unix or Linux-based systems. If I say Control Z, here it undoes the previous operation, but especially with Linux or Ubuntu or any other thing, if you consider, we are going to represent control Z as termination of the session. Okay, so let us say user agent has given a command like undo the previous thing, but when it is being transmitted, if it is not sent in ASCII, there is a chance like other side we have Linux system and it tries to terminate that particular information or to terminate that particular connection. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to exchange from non-ASCII code to 7-bit NVT ASCII code. NVT means Network Virtual Translator. Okay, NVT stands for Network Virtual Translator. Basically, it is converting from one form to another form. Clear what I am trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, MIME header will be like this. You are going to have an email, MIME version, content type, transferring encodes, etc. We are going to have. Okay, then we have some of the data types and subtypes in MIME. You can refer to these things. Nothing to discuss in this particular case. Here also content transfer encoding. What are the details we have? Okay. Then we said like we have SMTP, right? Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So simple mail transfer protocol works from sender to sender mail server to receiver mail server, and this side we are going to have POP3. Okay, we basically from receiver server to receiver register. Okay, we are going to have POP3 or IMAP, which will be taking care. Okay. So we'll be having commands and responses running between message transfer agent client and message transfer agent server. And the command format will be keyword comma arguments. You can see some of the keywords over here, and what is the content that we have to attach with them, that is being given here. Okay, let us try to look into those things. So if we consider the first one, it says text. Okay, and your text sorry, when we consider the first one, you have hello. Okay, whenever you send hello, you are going to pass on your information. Okay, what information? You might be sending username. Okay, this is my username. Okay, like that you will be sending. Then mail from, which talks about like who is the sender of the message. Recipient to is for entering receiver's address. Okay, the first column is keywords, second column is arguments for that particular thing. Quit and reset, they are used very rare, as long as we don't have any issue with respect to issue connection. We won't use quit and reset. Okay, and verify, whenever you type something, if you have noticed, you try to type wrong mail address, it will highlight in red color. Only it will show right mail addresses. Have you seen that? Verify.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is fine. Then we also have no operation option. Then turn. Okay, turn means it will be waiting for its turn. Okay, like that we are going to have. Then help send from, which is a command name which is intended to uh, all the recipients, recipients of the message. Okay, for that we will be sending help command. SMOL from, this is also for recipient only. SMAL also for recipient itself. Send from, SMOL, SMAL. We will see these things like how they are different, etc. shortly. Okay. Then responses. See, uh, these are the commands which we are using and corresponding arguments. In reply, we will be getting these responses. Positive completion reply, all will be in 200 ranges, 250, 200 to 250, something like that. Positive intermediate, we are going to have like this. Okay, smart mail input, something like that. Transient negative completion reply. Whenever you have some issue, we are going to use this one. So like that, we are going to talk with respect to numbers. Okay. Then this is an example which shows how in email we do communicate. So you can see telnet mail.adelphia.net, and it is also telling 25 degrees. Sorry, it is also giving 25 port number. Okay, so basically telnet means terminal network which is trying to access mail.adelphia.net. Okay, similarly, whenever we have Linux based systems, you can also try after including telnet, type like mail.google.com and a specific port number. So most probably it will also try to connect, and it will give you information. So it is saying what is the mail ID to which it is connecting, and it is also providing you the details of this one. Okay. uh, then like what is the address to which it is connected. Then once connection is established, you are going to get like this 220 and the mail server name, SMTP server ready, and corresponding date. Okay, so you are giving hello mail.philadelphia dot, you are sending a hello message, and it will ask like within the mail transfer, you are going to give the details like mail from whom it is coming, recipient also it is asking. Okay, that is not mandatory, and how you are sending the data, that is also question. Okay, so you can see here mail from, and you are passing the information. I got a reply from receiver. Then again recipient to like we have to use some mail ID, right? So I'm trying to enter that mail ID. Once that is fine, I'm going to get 250. Okay, but when we are trying to use GUI based things, these things are visible with respect to different colors, a red color highlighted or green color highlighted, something like that. Okay, so once your recipient mail ID is also correct, then we can give the command data and click on send. Okay, then you also see, basically we are saying like we need to send data ending with CRLF, means any idea? Carries return line feeding. Okay, carries return means what? We are going to the next line. Sorry, carries return means we are coming back to the starting position. Line feed means we are going to the next location. If you have seen typing machines, okay, we used to have typewriters earlier. Okay, after they completely enter the first line, they used to rotate that particular thing and move towards left side and start typing again. Have you seen that typewriter machine?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so there we were doing manually, but when we are sending mail or anything, we will have to specify that information, right? So we are specifying that with CRLF, carries written and line feeding. Then we are giving the information from where it is coming to where it is going, and this is the message, some content we are keeping. And last, it is mandatory, like you need to end this conversation with a period. Whenever you see this particular dot, then only the message, like the user agent or MTA client server, they will understand like this is the end of that particular message. Okay, so like that we will be sending. Once you have done data transmission, you will have to terminate the connection. So you are sending quit message. Once you receive reply for that one, then connection will be terminated. Okay, that is what we are doing. So you can see I said about POP3 and IMAP4, right? So they will be there from mail server of recipient to Bob receiver. Okay, clear? You can see another example what happens with respect to POP3. So mail server of Bob and Bob's computer. First, Bob's computer sends username for which mail server responds with OK. Okay, then you are sending password and the other side is saying OK. Then you are asking for list. Okay, list means tell me about what are the mails I have received, like that. So it will give the information, email numbers and their sizes. Then you can ask like retrieve one, retrieve two. Okay, when you say retrieve one, first mail is retrieved. When you say retrieve two, second mail is retrieved. When you say retrieve 10, 10th mail is retrieved. Like that, each mail separately you will be able to retrieve. Okay, so that is what we have with respect to email. Okay, just to recap what we have seen, we started our discussion with email. Then we have seen 4 different scenarios and how we are using taking the help of user agent and MTA client and MTA server here. Okay, to come up with message transmission from one location to another location. Okay, then we have seen the difference between MTA client and MTA server and MAA client and MAA server. MTA, MAA, what is the difference we have seen? Okay, then user agent, why, what is the role of user agent that we have seen? Okay, then how, what is the format of email, that also we have seen. Local part and domain name, that part also we have seen. Then we looked into the concept of MIME, why we are going with MIME. Okay, that is what we are looking. Then MIME header format we have seen. Then data types and sub data types in MIME we have seen. Okay, so maybe did I miss this one? Data types and sub data types. Okay, this is very simple. For example, you are sending text information. We have data types like this. Okay, whatever we have written here, all these are data types which are available. Okay, and in this data types again we are going to have subtypes. Text means plain or HTML. Okay, multi-part means we are going to have mixed information or parallel information digest. Okay, like that different subtypes and corresponding descriptions are given in MIME. Okay, and like content transfer encoding, when you are sending the information, how exactly you want to do the conversion, 7-bit ASCII or 8-bit ASCII, binary format or base 64 or quoted printable. Okay, different type of encoding techniques we have. Then the range of SMTP we have seen till where it works. Then command and response. Okay, how format of command is there, what are the commands. Okay, then responses, how we have. Then an example with respect to email we have seen. Okay, then an example with respect to POP3 and IMAP4, where they are working from receiver's mail server to receiver system. Okay, okay, clear, or any doubts you have? Anybody, any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.